Good morning and welcome to Walking Spirit. I'm your host, Tere. I'd like to let you know that the lines are open now if you would like to call in. Our number is 15204779587 or join me live in the chat room. Okay, today's topic is based on nature's healing. So we'll be looking at Mother Nature, or our Earth Mother, her beauty, nature's fury, why a lot of things happen today, and what we need to do to help make a change. But before doing so, I would like to tell you a story that has been revised in so many different versions and handled down in our New Zealand Māori culture from our ancestors and is still continued today. This story is about the love of Ranginui, who is our Sky Father, and Papatuanuku, our Earth Mother, and their children. Ranginui and Papatuanuku lie in a loving embrace, locked together over many years. During this time, Papatuanuku bore children. As the children, whom an all male, grow up, they grow with gaining curiosity of what would happen if there was light, as the world they know was complete darkness due to the fact that their children were being trapped between their parents. Tumatoinga, known as the god of war, the fiercest of all the children, proposes that the best thing to do is to kill their parents. But his brother Tere, known as the god of forests and birds, disagrees and suggests that it's better to push them apart, to let Ranginui be as a stranger to them in the sky above, while Papatuanuku will remain below to nurture them. The others put their plan into action. Rongo, who is the god of cultivated food, tries to push his parents apart. Then Tangaroa, the god of the sea, and his sibling, Haumea Tikitiki, the god of wild food, joined him. In spite of their joint efforts, Ranginui and Papatuanuku remained close together in their loving embrace. After many attempts, Tani forces his parents apart. Instead of standing upright and pushing with his hands, as his brothers have done, he lies on his back and pushes with his strong legs. Stretching every sinew, Tani pushes and pushes until, with cries of grief and surprise, Ranginui and Papatuanuku were pried apart. And so the children of Ranginui and Papatuanuku see the light and have space to move for the first time. While the other children have agreed to the separation, Tawhiri, the god of storms and winds, is angered that the parents have been torn apart. He cannot bear to hear the cries of his parents, nor see the tears of Ranginui as they are parted. He promises his siblings that henceforth they will have to deal with his anger. Tawhiri flies off and joins his father in the sky, and there carefully fosters his own many offspring, who include the winds, one of whom is sent to each quarter of the compass. To fight his brothers, Tawhiri gathers an army of his children, winds and clouds of different kinds, including fierce squalls, whirlwinds, gloomy thick clouds and thunderstorm clouds, rain, mists and fog. As these winds show their might, the dust flies and the great forest trees of Tani are smashed under attack and fall to the ground, food for decay and insects. Then Tawhiri, god of the storms and winds, attack the oceans and huge waves rise. Whirlpools form and Tangaroa, god of the sea, flees in panic. Punga is a supernatural being, the ancestor of sharks, lizards, ray, and all deformed things. He is the son of Tangaroa. He has two children, Ika Tere, who is the father of fish, and Tu Te Wehiwehi, or Tu Te Wanawana, the ancestor of reptiles. Terrified by Tawhiri onslaught, the fish seeks shelter in the sea, and the reptiles in the forest. Ever since Tangaroa has been angry with Tane for giving refuge to his runaway children, Tane in return supplies the descendants of Tūmataunga with canoes, fishhooks, and nets to catch the descendants of Tangaroa. Tangaroa retaliates by swamping canoes and sweeping away houses, land and trees that are washed out to sea in floods. Tawhiri next attacks his brothers Rongo and Haumea Tikitiki, where the gods of cultivated and uncultivated foods. Rongo and Haumea are in great fear of Tawhiri, but as he attacks them, Papatua determines to keep these for her own children and hides them so well that Tawhiri cannot find them. He then turns to his brother Taumatunga. He uses all his strength, but Taumatunga stands fast and Tawhiri cannot prevail against him. Two, or humankind, stands fast, and at last the anger of the gods subsided and peace prevailed. Two thought about the actions of Tane in separating their parents and made snares to catch the birds, the children of Tane, who would no longer fly free. He then made nets from forest plants and cast them into the sea, so that the children of Tangaroa soon lie in heaps on the shore. He made hoes to dig the ground, capturing his two brothers Rongo and Haumea Tikitiki, where they had hidden from Tawhiri in the bosom of the Earth Mother, and recognizing them by their long hair that remains above the surface of the earth. He drags them forth and heaps them into baskets to be eaten. So too eats all of his brothers to repay them for their cowardice. The only brothers that he does not subdue is Tawhiri, whose storms and hurricanes attack humankind to this day, and Ruamoko, the only brother never born, who is the youngest and the god of the volcanoes, earthquakes, and seasons. So basically, that little story is a story that we have grown up with, that has been handed down, for a lot of generations, through a lot of generations. It's exactly what we know as how the world was created from our cultural perspective. So the good thing about that is that basically you've got today in today's world, and we're just going to go into a bit about that and how we are able to help her in healing her, so to speak. So what we're going to be looking at next is how Mother Nature protects her own and looks after what is hers. The forces of rage that is brought upon the earth by man causes her children to react, to protect and help their mother. Mother Earth herself is love, and all that she does is in love for her children. So, although the elite, as I like to call them, otherwise known as the Illuminati, etc., are the rulers of this world. They, through man-made events, cause destruction upon and under the earth. Their resources are made to hurt not only mankind themselves, but everything we know and believe to be nature, the oceans, the air, etc. I could go on and on moaning about what the elite and man do to our earth, let alone humankind, but that could always be another topic. But now it's allowing us to help Mother Earth heal by doing good by her. Our little bit may not be much, but it's at least something to show her how much we do appreciate her and her children by working along with the elements instead of against them. Our world will be so much better if it did. So basically, it's looking after our environment, looking after everything that we have access to. We have access to the lands, we have access to the oceans, we also have access to the air and everything that's around us. With pollution, the environment, or how we're treating the environment, and everything that's going on in the world today, it's like, what do we do? How can we help? To help her, to be a better place to live in, to help this world heal, in other words. Also note that everything that goes on in this world, whether it be storms, whether it be earthquakes, volcanoes erupting, and so forth, this is no job done by her, Mother Earth. This is not her doing. She has so much love for humankind in general that she won't do anything to hurt to anybody. The retaliation that is happening in the world today comes from her children. They're the ones that basically do the upsets. If you upset her or do anything to affect her, it makes them angry. The story that I was telling you about is exactly how excessive that these guys can go to prove a point, so to speak. It's just as with mankind, they don't understand that. They don't understand that basically the nature's elements are her children. Sorry, just got a message come through chat. Yes, nature's elements are definitely her children. So with the effects of mankind and what they do today, they so basically anything that mankind does wrong today, to any of our surroundings, the environment, the oceans, anything at all, it's generally aimed at the people that are who have enforced those. So basically the bigger countries or the highest, the people with money, so to speak, the ones that have enforced things like bombs and stuff like that, and the greed of just destroying or destructing her, and the air that we breathe will affect your children very, and then basically they tend to hit the places that they tend to hit the places that basically where those people have enforced these things. So basically, like you've had in New Zealand, we've had cyclone come through. We've also had earthquakes happening. Um, my understanding of that is because New Zealand has opened the gateway where it was always protected. Our seas were always protected um, from international. Um, yeah, where our seas were protected from international fishing, international use of bombs and so forth, testing stuff for the army or whatever have you. But then, due to our government has stepped up and basically opened the doors for these people to come in. And what has happened now is basically it has led to earthquakes, regardless of us being in Christchurch, regardless of them being on the templates. Their templates are on, I forgot what you call that, but which has brought in earthquakes. It's also allowed cyclones because it's the ocean now that's coming back to cause the cyclones. So it's what these bigger companies or these bigger people do. It ends up affecting the whole lot of us. A lot of people start dying, whereas they don't care at all, and it's really sad to see that because all they're worried about is basically how to line their how to line their pockets, which is really sad because of man's greed. So, not only does it happen in New Zealand, it's happening all over the world. You've got you've got like the earthquakes, you've got a lot of hurricanes, a lot of tidal waves, you've got a lot of floods that are happening all over the world, that are basically caused by man. Instead of just leaving things alone and being, happy with life in general, they want to go and these people want to go and create a world that is satisfied for them. My perspective is they're wanting to, basically erase humans in general. They care for none other than themselves. And if they do have or keep humans or mankind still living, it's basically so that they can control or basically enslave. So it's like reopening the early 1800s all over again, of how it used to be in the States, of how they used to treat the blacks, where Negroes were slaves and so forth. But what they're doing now is basically all on world slavery. So it's how do we fix that? How do we actually try and fix that? What I'm going to do is basically I'm wanting to open the lines up, so I'm going to give you that number again, or else come through on live chat, because I find your views and your comments would be really good to hear, and it'd be really good for a discussion. So if you'd like to call, our number is 1520-477-9587, or join me on live join me live on chat. Because I'd really love to hear your fellas' views on this. And hopefully it'll lead us up to the break. Yeah. I'm just reading in the chat now. Um, good morning, Tere. Morning, Shay. Thank you guys for joining. Yes. Yeah, no, I'm just trying to, yeah, sorry. Yeah, just waiting for some people to come through to, so we can open up the chats. Um, and yeah, continue our, topic. But, you know, one thing I have been watching a lot now, um, you know, you've got a lot of things that are happening now in the world, which I see through the media. You've got the things of like there's trying to make World War III happen. Um, well, it seems like they're trying to make World War III happen. You know, when there realistically isn't any need for it. You've got people in the world that are basically just suffering at the hands of other people. Um, you know, and half the time they've got nowhere to go. You know, valuing ourselves and where we're at today is basically, you know, a major blessing. I'm happy. I'm happy where I am today, but yet I look around the world and you've got people that are 10 times worse off than what you are. Um, you've got people that basically, been doing a lot of research, sorry, on different lifestyles and how people live. Um, how convenient we are, or how convenient we have it that we can go for a trip down to the nearest shops to basically get what we want. Um, where you've got these people are, you know, basically roaming the desert where they've roamed for so many generations, um, to, you know, to search for food. And they, you know, or else you've got people in Alaska. We've been watching a few series on them where they're basically out in the middle of snow most of their lives, or practically, is it 9 months out of the year that they have snow and trying to live off that. So, you know, those places, Mother Earth will always provide for, regardless. Um, it's having it's having people in this day and age, or basically in the Western world, that don't know the meaning of hardship, or don't know what it's like to actually struggle for a living. Um, you know, because you've got the issues of money being the most root of all evil. Um, but then you've also got, you know, basically everything handed to you on a platter. Um, you know, sometimes I think it'd be really nice because I've lived basically in an island style setting. So, you had to live off the land. You had to, um, live off the sea. Um, you didn't have, um, basically money to live with. So, market days, which are on Saturdays, every Saturday, you're then taking your food down to the market. So So basically, you're going down there. Yes, you'll have the tourists that'll come in and buy stuff off you, but then you've also got the locals that we tend to basically barter from. So it's like, oh, I'll give you some of this for some of that, which always works well. Um, but at the end of the day, it's making use of Mother Nature and what she has to offer. Um, I have thought about being here in Australia, or especially in Melbourne here, and living in the city. And I've asked my hubby this. I turned around and I said to him, I was going, honestly, if the world, basically, if Melbourne was to have no access to food, and something went wrong and shops are closed down and basically everybody's looting everything and so forth, would people here be able to survive? Would they know how to survive? Would they know how to plant food? Would they know that the ocean is just there? Would they know how to go and get their own food? I've thought about that really, quite often. My answer to that would basically, yes, some will, majority no. You're going to have a lot of people rushing out to the countries where all the farms are and basically heading for the livestock, I feel. Um, so it's opening the third world's eye. I mean, basically, it's opening our Western world's eyes to the fact of they really need to go back, not to where they're from, but they really need to go back and basically start using the land for what she's made for. Opening the waters, or the basically to go out to the oceans, to go and go fishing and so forth. You see a lot of people, I must say, though. I see people out on boats and they're off fishing and whatever have you, and you've got people down at the docks and whatever have you around, fishing all the time. But it's whether you can get if you fellas get into basically learning how to cultivate and provide for yourself, yeah, and getting back to nature, it'll be amazing to see it'll be amazing to see how substantially equipped you become, and not having to rely on what the Western world basically has. But anyway, we'll go into more of that after our break. So we're going to take a few minutes and then we'll be back shortly.
e-Zine, an online magazine that is given out freely. The wide range of promotional is unlimited. We take pride in bringing it all together for you. And we recognize that it is hard to reach a lot of people by just having a website, or even those writers that do not have the means to advertise or have a website. This website will provide its free services of advertising and giving others a platform to share their experiences, skills, and ability. For we believe that it is through others we learn not only of others but of ourselves as well. So, if you need a chat room to hold sessions, we can provide that with audio and video for classes, workshops, or just single sessions. Contact us to see what we can provide with our special features and promotional experience. And it is all free. Yes, free. Join us and meet other like-minded people, because that is what makes OTC the place to be. OffTheCuffEZine.com.
Hi guys, and welcome back. The lines are open now if you'd like to call in. Our number is 152 0477 9587, or come and join me live in the chat room. Basically, I've got to flute the next half hour because all the stuff that I've written down for today's topic is now being completed in the first half of the session. So, any questions or anything that you have, basically send them on through. Our topic today is based on nature's healing, based on Mother Nature herself, Mother Earth. How do you think, or what are your views in basically how do we help her? How do we try to avoid the things that are going on today, or lessen what's going on today? Even though us as individuals, regardless of one, together we can all become, a strong force to deal with. It's just as, in my view, us as humans, being from a young age, we've been trained to basically trained in a system that basically we cannot view our ideas, we cannot fight against what we believe in or what's right, because you've always got the people of power that can shut you down pretty much 5 seconds. So, if it means through one person, by taking that step forward and trying to make a change to provide help, and not only helping Mother Earth, but to, in all other areas, and then having, like that one person start to have or lead the way or open the doors. It'll open basically it'll lead the path for everybody else to go through to also start helping, or to start making change. It's best described as basically either standing up for yourselves and what you believe in, and it's taking a stand. People now, though, I've realised here in Australia, with a lot of things that are going on today, people are actually starting to make a stand. Slowly, very slowly, but it's starting to happen. Also in the States, you've got a lot of things happening over there that people are starting to really come together as one. Um, and are starting to, starting to go out on, well, I wouldn't call them riots, even though they end up being like that, but, or starting to stand up and stand out there and have a voice. It'd be really nice if everyone could just basically be in peace, and harmony, but for that to happen, it's needing us as individuals to combine as one to make that stand. If it means by getting people out on the boats to stop the amount of dangers that they're, the things that they're doing out there, by throwing oil, helping to keep our waters pure, of course, our food free from pesticides, exactly, because, I remember growing up in New Zealand, we'd always have a garden that we'd plant every year. There was no such thing as whatever generic whatever things that they've got today, or organic whatever they have today, because everything was basically from the earth. You didn't have the pesticides and everything else that you have today. Sorry, just had a comment come through. Yeah, so we were basically, what you planted was basically what you used for yourself. You didn't, so you didn't have, all the crap, excuse my terms, is what you do today. When you go out to go and get plants and stuff like that, it's basically, are you buying something that's not already, already containing pesticides or stuff like that? So it's being very careful, exactly, and do that, and how you preserve those things, or basically, is it best to start back from seeds? I think, it's everything that we are provided today have all been remodified. Our food, our meat, our pork, chickens, whatever have you, they've all been remodified for production purposes. I also remember being a kid, and then you'd have chickens twice the size of what of the ones that you get today. But that was just, as I call, normal way of breeding. Today they are, they're filled with so much crap that it's like, oh my gosh. Okay, I have a question that has come through chat. Now, Tere has asked how to change our agreement with Spirit. If we made an agreement with Spirit, how we see things, and we want to change that agreement. I'm still trying to contemplate what she's saying here, but am I on the right track when you're saying that basically right, you're giving you're allowing Spirit into your life, so how we view personally from our perspective and how we want to change that. Do we need to change that? Well, basically, depending if we, well, how I'm seeing what you've just written is basically to become one with Spirit is basically changing your lifestyle, changing your lifestyle to better, for the betterment of yourself. Am I on the right track here with your question, Tidia? Well, that's my understanding of what you're trying to say is it's to bring yourself it's been able to release all that is to release all that negativity, the stuff that basically hindrances you, to change that perspective or that tradition or that trait that you've been so used to living, to remove that from you when you're walking along with Spirit, to working along with Spirit, it's releasing and bringing in to replace. So we work along Spirit, which you get back to I'm starting to sound funny. It's getting back to yourself in your true form. So it's allowing the negative from within to be replaced with the positive. So it's putting positive things in your life, replacing the negative with the positive stuff. So get back to natural nature in its purest forms. So if we go back in generations, basically, thank you, Tere, for the question. So if we go back in generations, the way everything was, you're basically going back to the days where man could live basically off the land, and man could actually provide from this, all the needs were provided for them. There was no need for any other sourcing from anywhere. They've had basically everything given to them on a silver platter. Then we have another generation that has come in that have basically learned how to, like every culture has learned how to sustain for themselves, provide for themselves, protect themselves. Still trying to figure out where a lot of this stuff came from. But then, you had men that invented guns. You had men that invented what do you call those cannibal things? and weapons. Yes, every culture had their own weapons, etc., for protection for their own families or tribes, as we know them as. But most of the time, it was the weapons that they had were made to source their foods. It's over the centuries, or over the hundreds of years since way back. It's come from basic pure living to being very destructive. And as the days go on, it's getting worse. When we provide basically, when we populate, as we're populating the earth with more and more children, you know, who knows what it's going to be like in another 10, 15 years. You're absolutely right when you say man makes things to produce more and make it easier, you know, and we have become lazy, very lazy, because convenience has it. Our kids are going to be the ones that basically have to put up, like, as we have put up with the changes of the world and the way things have gone, to being in the third world countries, as they so call them. I'd rather be there than be right in the city at the present, or being in a place, because realistically, when I lived in the Cook Islands. I did so for basically over 20 years. That place was self-sufficient. It was like walking into another era, something out of this world. So you're walking into a lifestyle that is just basically land and ocean. The houses that you provide or the properties that you have are your own. You don't pay rent. You know, the only thing that you're actually paying for is your power. And we have, it's going back to life's simplicities. You have a barter system that you can live off, basically. If you don't have meat, you've got somebody there that has meat, so you're able to trade for meat. Simplicities of life, flour, sugar, milk, is always there, but to do that here in a big city or a big country is basically impossible, unless you're going out in the outskirts. But then you're going back into the locals. You're going back to the locals or the natives of the lands, where the majority of them still live the way that their forefathers have lived. And they don't rely on the Western world's way of living, or the lifestyle of the Western world. So the rules and regulations that the Western worlds have doesn't apply to them at all, because they can't comprehend, or they don't, they don't live by the rules of the Western world. Which is really good. So regardless of the big cities and the major cities of where we are, it's basically a cry out that they now are aware in the cities and have made gardens for the communities on vacant lots for buildings. Vacant lots of buildings being turned into gardens. Some places, yes. they do that, and you've got some areas here in Melbourne too where they made the strips, the government strips, as a community garden. So it's good to see that, small things are happening, slowly, but it would be basically getting back to helping her provide our sources or our means to live. Also having the oceans, as to clear our oceans of all things that they've done, the pollutions. Yeah, giving some healing where there was none. Absolutely right. Thank you, Pat. Yeah, so it's beautiful to know that basically, there are some people out there that are trying to make a difference and trying to, heal her. So if you're able to, in some way, able to, help her by using her for, oh, that doesn't sound right, does it? By accessing what she has available to provide what she's actually here. So that will always help. That will always help. So one step is a big step. So if everyone is able to just basically clean up the yard, whatever, sort of thing. Go out, sit there, play in the dirt, or even just grabbing some stuff to build yourself a little garden to help not only yourself, feed the neighborhood if you must. That will show that will show them a lot. That will show our elements a lot, basically, or that you're actually trying to help, or you're trying to provide not only for yourself but for others. Sharing is caring, basically. So if you're able to just do a little bit to make that change, she will in return share the love to you. And it'll stop all her sons from basically causing havoc, which they do. And like I said, the youngest one, Ruamuko, who was still the unborn child, he's now getting his vengeance because of the things that are happening. So to get nice and quiet and to keep those volcanoes at bay, the earthquakes at bay, and the cyclones at bay, it's basically assisting these guys to ensure that their mother's taken care of. When they see that their mother's taken care of, we won't have these issues. The more that these people test nature or test the elements in general, we'll send them in we'll send these guys in an opposite direction. So if we can provide assistance in any way to make sure that she's safe and protected and loved, then that's just a bonus in itself. There's hope for the human being because the way we're going, yeah, definitely. Definitely the way we're going, is looking at world destruction, basically. And literally, we are worth more than that. We are worth more than that. It's when people start realizing how much they are worth within themselves. they'll realise, or then that's when you realise that this world, this earth, is something worth fighting for. And with that, I leave you. I leave you for this week. Sending you guys love and light, and wishing you all the best. And I'll catch up with you next week. Thank you.